Hello, welcome to my meditation. My name is Deborah Baker, and I am delighted that you have joined me. It is December 22nd. Well, actually, that's the time that I'm releasing the meditation. I'm recording it during this energy of the winter solstice, which, the energy doesn't just last for a moment, it lasts for a few days. And the winter solstice and the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in the night sky, magical, wonderful things are happening right now. So let's take a nice deep breath and forget for a moment that it's Christmas week, that you probably have some things on your to-do list, and some things coming up. Even with this pandemic that we are in, some of us are still able to get together with certain family members that we are exposed to on a regular basis anyway. Or however, I never sit in judgment of someone else. You do your life as you feel led. I really firmly believe that everyone needs to trust their heart, trust their inner voice. So anyway, this meditation for this week, the theme is joy. And that is the theme for the fourth week of Advent. And so let's take a deep breath. Actually take several deep breaths. And let's celebrate the fact that this week my earrings match. And if you look at last week's meditation, and if you already have, you may have noticed that my earrings didn't match. I grabbed two earrings off my counter thinking that they were both the same, from the same pair, but they were not. And I think sometimes I just, keep myself humble. And, none of us are perfect. None of us is perfect. I'm never quite sure what the correct, verb is there. Regardless, let's let go of everything and just settle in. If you hear sounds other than this meditation, or even if there's some wayward sound in the meditation, I invite you to just allow it to pass by. If something distracts you, allow the energy to just move on by and bring yourself back to center. We know that we are infinite spirits having a human experience, which means that the greater part of you, of course, is the infinite part. The part of you that probably gives you that brings you the most attention, gets your attention the most, is your human, your temporary existence. And if you think about it, another nice deep breath. Our infinite selves are boundless. They are not confined by time and space, and in that way they are easier. And so the challenges come when an infinite soul decides to have a human experience. So congratulations, because that's a brave choice. It is full of joy and possibility and wonder. It's also challenging for an infinite soul to try to figure out how to deal with time, the constraints of time. And all of us have had those experiences where time seemed to collapse. For me, it is often when I sit at the sewing machine or the embroidery machine, sometimes when I read. There are lots of times, and I invite you to just think about those times. Ironic that it's times, those episodes, those experiences, when time seems to stand still or speed up. I remember sitting down at the sewing machine and looking up and 5 hours had passed. And other times feeling like I had been there fully immersed for a long time and 5 minutes had passed. It just had this sense of timelessness. And I think it is important for our souls to experience that. So as you are allowing your body to relax, your shoulders to sink down, your face to lose all, sense of tension and just to lose all expression really, for your feet and your legs to settle in and settle down, your back to let go, your shoulders to let go, your neck, and just allow your body to let go. And as it is releasing, letting go, becoming calm and peaceful, think about those times, those activities that give you that sense of timelessness. The Greeks have a word for it, and that's kairos. Infinite Spirit moves in, through, and as us. And so we don't need to be as concerned about time as we think. One of the commitments I have in doing these meditations is that I don't outline them ahead of time. I don't decide what is going to be said. I sit down here and bravely allow Spirit to guide me for these meditations. And so I had no idea we were going to talk about time. And, my intention was to talk about joy. But let's think about joy in relation to time. Because sometimes our most joyful moments don't necessarily last that long. Many of you know I just lost my beagle. He was 14 and a half years old, and I think about my times with him, and it wasn't that I sat, with him on my lap or holding him or petting him for hours and hours at a time. It was those times when we were together. There was just such a connection, such a peace. And I think if we sat down and actually measured the times we spend with certain people doing certain things, it's really not about the length of time, the number of minutes or hours. It's about being present. So I invite you to be present for this meditation right now. Be here now and think about what brings you joy. What activities, what places, what people. Think about your favorite people who walk this earth. And think about your favorite people who no longer walk this earth. I know that they are with you. I am a medium, so I talk to people, what we call on the other side, dead people. And they always say, I am nearer to you now than I was when I occupied a body and I took up space on earth. Now I'm infinite. And what that means is they can be everywhere they want to all the time. So I've had people say to me, oh, how could she be with him because I need her to be with me? And it's not like that. They are fully present to whomever needs them, wants them to be, whenever they need them and want them to be there. So my beloved Father is I'm sure, many places at once, because there were many people who were very sad to see him go. And I know that He is present and He has lots of ways to show us. So think about your loved ones, and I guarantee you they have ways of showing you that they're around. For my father, it's dimes, sometimes it's cardinals, or other kind of birds, or flowers, or sounds, a song, whatever it may be, a fragrance. There's, my sister says whenever she smells cinnamon, she thinks of my grandmother. And so I invite you to pay attention to those signs. They're trying to get your attention. They're trying to bring you joy. The spirits who have passed on want to assuage your sorrow. They want you to feel better. They want you to experience joy. So imagine infinite spirit moving into your heart space and taking away your sadness, taking away your sorrow, your angst. Sometimes what we are afraid of is future sorrow. I think every person as a child, when they realize that their mother or their parents are going to die someday, feels this sense of future sorrow, this fear that I'm going to be very sad someday. And you know what? We don't need to borrow sorrow from the future. So allow whatever sorrow, whatever sadness is there to be present, and then just drift away like a leaf on a river, one of my favorite metaphors. Just let it float away. Let infinite spirit come in and lift your heart. You can be peaceful. You can find peace. You are worthy of joy and peace. Every once in a while you meet someone who just is determined to be unhappy. And I really believe, first of all, that people have a right to be unhappy. If they want to be unhappy, they have that right. People have a right to be angry. They have a right to be morose. They have a right to focus on all the bad things. That doesn't mean that you have to go down that road with them, but I honor people's right to suffer. If they want to suffer, that's their option. And so forgive people who make choices that are different than you would make for them. Just honor their right to be wherever it is that they happen to be. We don't have to fix anyone. We don't have to choose for them. At the same time, when we choose joy, when we smile, when we allow ourselves to get in touch with infinite joy, which is just tightly woven into the fiber of love. Love and joy are, hand in glove. When we feel love, we feel joy. Think about the people who love you the most. And I guarantee you there are a lot of people who love you. Stop for a moment and take that in. Take in the love that is there for you. Think about the children who love you. And if you can't think of any children who love you, I suggest you find some, because no one loves like children. Just think about that innocent, unconditional love. Children and pets, they know how to love. They don't put conditions on their love. They don't feel like, well, I will love you if, or I will love you when. And at the same time, I invite you to allow Infinite Spirit to move in, through, and as you, and into your heart. And allow yourself to release those conditions that you put on yourself. I will love and accept myself when I lose 10 pounds. When I finally start, making sure the house is clean before I go to bed at night, or throwing in a load of laundry every day, or keeping my car clean, or whatever it might be, getting daily exercise, eating better. Don't put conditions on your love for yourself. Usually I say, I suggest you don't. And I do suggest that you don't, but I really don't want you to put conditions on yourself. And I can say this to myself as well, because I know that even though I make an effort, a sincere effort to love myself and accept myself exactly as I am, I know that there are times when I feel better about myself because of outside circumstances. And outside circumstances do not define us. We can love ourselves exactly as we are, and we can be joyful in every moment. And not a fake sort of joy, but a sense that no matter what is going on around me, there are reasons to be joyful, there are reasons to be grateful. And gratitude and joy, also go hand in glove, because when we appreciate what we have, how can we feel anything but joy? I have a wonderful family. Each and every one of them is just wonderful, and I love them. And when I think about them, it brings me joy, which is why I have tons of family pictures. I don't know if you noticed the Christmas tree behind me, but there's actually pictures of the family on my tree, because they bring me so much joy. So whatever it is, it might be, beautiful photography, beautiful scenery, having your house be neat and spotless, whatever it is that brings you joy. I invite you to focus on it, to accept it as yours, to look for more. What we focus on increases. So as you focus on the things that bring you joy, guess what? You will have more joy, and you deserve it. And so Christmas is in a few days, and whatever your celebration is, or if you are like a couple of dear, dear friends of mine who their idea of celebration is time alone. One of them describes it as being a hermit. If that is your idea of the perfect Christmas, embrace it, love it, enjoy it. And don't feel like you owe anybody any explanations. Whatever it is that you do, I invite you to just find joy in it. If you have to sit next to the relative that is your least favorite, find some joy in it somehow. Probably your presence is bringing joy to that person. So give yourself credit for the joy that you bring to others. The feedback that I get from my meditations brings me so much joy. So thank you to those of you who, listen to my meditations and revisit them and find a little bit of a reason to love yourself and to be joyful. And know that the infinite love, the infinite presence is moving in, through, and as me through this meditation, through this video to you. Take a deep breath. Open up your heart and just take in unconditional love. God, through me, loves you exactly as you are. You are whole and perfect exactly as you are. No exceptions, no excuses, no explanations, as you are in this moment. So if you celebrate Christmas, I wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas. And if you don't, I wish you happy holidays, and I wish you joy and peace and love and good health. And I will see you next week. Namaste.